So hey, how are you? I'm Scott Duncan. I'm bringing you a product along with Design It. It's a company I've been working with for 25 years. Larry Childs owns the company, closest friend. They've been bringing you products behind the scene for a long time. We brought you the Easy Connect pop-up assembly, the magnetic drain technology, the Easy Connect easy tear-out coupling. There's a variety of products that we brought you. We've had to bring those in through OEM. This product is different. This one threatens the very companies, the OEMs we're trying to sell it to. Because if this product comes in, it starts taking out their own products. So is it a closet flange? Is it a seal? Is it the caps? It's everything. So you don't even know where to put it. Do you put it in the closet flange area? Do you put it in the seal area? Do you put it over in the caps area? It sits by itself, and then it takes out these aisles of products, just being its standalone product. Every once in a while you come across with a product that makes sense and makes sense. It makes sense from a money standpoint because you save a lot of time in the install. You save like 15 minutes of the install because we're going to show you in the video. And then it makes practical sense because if this was here in the beginning, you wouldn't need anything else. You wouldn't need all those other parts. Well, we're going to talk about the JackPot later. I want to get into the clever caps right off the bat because it's the most popular part of the product. We basically got this patent. It just got overlooked, I guess. It's pretty broad, but it's just we've got a recessed brass nut inside the cap. We use a 5/16 bolt, and it simply holds the toilet down by itself, and you hand tighten. And that eliminates these toilets coming back cracked because obviously they're in a pair. You got the tank and the bowl, and you're going to bring them back to you, and the customer's going to tell you, I got it that way, when in fact they cracked it when they over-tightened the bolt because I'm a plumber. In fact, my plumbers do that. So that's not new news. You just will alleviate those returns on toilets. There's one thing I do not want to forget to tell you, and that is these clever caps. We do them in 5/16 for the JackPot because they're a sturdier bolt, but 95% of the toilets that are out there, probably more, they're 1/4 inch. So we're gonna put a 1/4 inch nut in there, and that's for your aftermarket retro, where people can go home and they've got that cap rolling around on the floor, the puppy's got it in its mouth, and they're just tired of it not snapping on. They just go take the little nut, throw it away, take ours, screw it on, and you're done. But that's a big aftermarket part. It's standalone, 1/4 inch, and so you'll get those in a blister pack, and that's listed in the price sheet. I want to get into the competition of these. There really isn't any. We've got Fluidmaster makes these easy, fast connect or whatever they are, but you still have to buy caps for them, but that's just to alleviate sawing off the bolts after you're done. So it's $10 just so you don't have to saw off the bolt. Sioux Chief's got some smart caps. That's what they're called. They're all plastic. That's out there. The Danco's got these. I think it's maybe it's not Danco, but these are called twister caps, and it's got little inserts. They screw onto the bolt, so you can in fact take the cap and then screw it onto the inserts. So there's nothing out there that's that simple. And like I said, we've always brought products to OEMs. This one we are stuck because the JackPot really needs to go to you for the reasons I described earlier. It's not rocket science. The JackPot's just really simple, and that's just a nature of invention. The simpler it gets, the better it gets. That's just how this thing has worked. So it doesn't really need a lot of instructions. It just, you take it off the shelf, take it home, glue it, screw it, and set the toilet. All you have to know is you line these up 12 inches from the face of the wall or 12.5 from the rough wall, and that's it. And that's why we don't do an adjustable flange. We could, we don't feel that we need to. This is definitely DIY. Make it as simple as you can. Line this up with the wall and screw it down. So we'll put that right on top of the faceplate. So we're just going to get into the video, and we're going to show you how to install it on top of the floor and in the recess, and then we're going to talk about the benefits and the features. And after that, you'll be a plumber. You'll know what to do. So this is the JackPot closet flange. We've got it sitting right on top of finished floor. Those are vandal-proof screws that I'm undoing. It releases the test cap, which also doubles as a cavity for the clever caps, and it also triples as a debris cap. It keeps stuff from getting on top of your closet flange. So you've got a really clean application once you remove the top. And then that's the forever seal sitting on top of it. We call it that because it lasts forever. It's going to jump up and down and reach any floor height now or in the future. So we're attaching the bolts. These hold the bolts upright because we're going to set the toilet in a second and prepare it to anchor the pole to the floor. And what you have underneath the toilet is a recess cavity for any seal, bowl wax, you name it, but it's only a 1/2 inch recess. Our JackPot only takes up a 1/2 inch. We're able to do this. Any other seal you set on top of that floor will not work except wax. And if you do use wax on top of that flange, you won't have much of a seal at all. It'll be a fingernail thickness. And any movement, earthquake, heavy person sitting on it would disturb that wax seal, along with hydronic flooring and you name it. So wax has been used forever, but wax does have its problems. So now we've got this little bad boy sitting inside on a recess. So this is done with a plumber install. The JackPot is sitting on a recess floor. So it's been glued and screwed onto the subfloor, and now we've either put lino around it or tile or whatever. It doesn't matter because the spring seal, the forever seal, goes up and down and it will reach the floor height. The cool thing here is our bolts are made for our flange. So we will attach and we'll be able to set the bowl with the clever caps. And notice that the forever seal easily removes. You can just move it out of your way and pop it back in its socket. You'll notice in both applications we are not sawing off toilet bolts. So that's 1.5 inch countersunk, and we've still got 3/8 of an inch of threads to screw the clever cap on with and anchor the toilet. It just doesn't get any easier than this. And the thing is, if your toilet ever loosens up 5 years down the road, something disturbs it, the seal inside the toilet is self-sealing. You'll never disturb the internal seal of the toilet. It doesn't matter how loose your toilet gets. All you have to do is just reach down and retighten. Hey, I'm Scott Duncan. I work for Design-It, and we've put together a product that I just showed you just a couple seconds ago how to install the video on top of a finished floor. Sometimes that's what the installer runs against. And I've also showed you how to install it when it's done properly, like when the plumber puts it on the rough floor, the subfloor, and then we tile around it. That's what's typically done. But what I want to tell you is a scenario when we use the JackPot. It fits 3-inch and 4-inch, and you take it right off the shelf and you put it on the pipe. The pipe's right here, right? So it's like so, and it just screws down. You screw it, glue it, set the toilet. But we can do that. If you take a standard flange, for instance, let's just take Suchief's 4x3 flange, and you want to set that. Now you come back and you want to use like a corky seal. Let's say that's a wax-free seal, it's new on the market. The problem you have now is if it's on the finished floor and you've set this flange down, that is not going to fit right there. I mean, you can put it there, but the toilet's not going to go to the floor. You only have a 1/2 inch from the top of this floor to set the toilet. That's the cavity that's there. So you cannot use this seal. This is a Fluid Master seal. If you set that down there on top of this, you've got about 1 inch, 1.25 inches. That's not going to work. Danco's, let's see, Perfect Seal. It's going to sit like so, There's no way that's going to fit. So what we've done is we've solved a lot of problems, because when the homeowner, even the plumber, when they come in, they're going to want to know what can we do, because now we're stuck. Well, you can do a wax seal. I mean, just standard wax, that's what everybody uses today. That will press down to nothing. But then what you've got is a very thin seal. And if you've got an earthquake, you've got a heavy person, that's the problem with wax today, is that seal gets disrupted. It gets disrupted all the time. You have hydronic flooring, it can melt, it's exposed to the atmosphere under the house. Wax hasn't held up. I mean, it's held up for a long time, and that's what a plumber always uses. On the install I showed you on the flip side, where it's done properly, you can never get away with one wax. If it's countersunk properly, you always need 2 wax rings, and they stack on top of each other. Now, when it's done correctly, like on professional install, then you can use these other seals. So what we've done in the JackPot, we've done a vandal-proof seal, and it works as a debris cap. It works to hold the clever caps, which we'll talk about later, but that mounts the toilet. And you know, if you come onto a job site, these things will be sitting there, and then you've got a test plug in there like that. That's holding test. All these parts are going to be done away with. You've got all kinds of stuff you've got to clean off. And by keeping this clean on top, we've taken care of that problem. You just basically, it's sanitary, it's clean. Then you can pop it off. Somebody's going to have a tool to disrupt the test, because it's working right here. This works as a test. So you can go ahead and test your pipes up through the floor. Up through 3 floors, in fact. So it's got IAPMO approvals, it's got everything you need. The spring seal fits any floor later on. So you can put this on lino right now. Later on, you can go to tile. The spring's got memory, so it's always going to take it up to the next floor now and 10 years from now. So you never have to replace the seal. That's why we call it the forever seal. And it fits 3-inch, it fits 4-inch. It's 3-inch over pipe, 4-inch inside pipe. And it's also got, my engineer was very clever, it's got a glue trap right there. And the reason for that is when you take our part and you screw it down onto the pipe, or you glue it down onto the pipe and you screw it, any glue that may come up and come in contact with the rubber, it wouldn't bother the rubber, but we've just taken care of that situation. It goes into its own little trap. But this is also the most popular closet flange on the market. The plumbers love it. It's a 4x3 flush fit. And that means if the pipe is all the way to the top of the floor, our flange goes all the way to the top of the floor. And you can take our seal and it's in. You can't do that anywhere. We've just taken all the problems out of the equation. There's nothing left to think about. But let's say, for instance, they don't have an inspector coming on their job. They don't need a test, or they don't want a test. Maybe they're just doing a project at home by themselves. Then you don't need the test cap. You can go home with the 4x3 closet flange and the seal. You can also sell it, the closet flange with the seal, with the clever caps. We call them clever for an obvious reason. They're clever. So that's different SKUs. You got the closet flange with the seal, closet flange with the seal and the caps, closet flange with the caps, and then you've got the clever caps. And the clever caps I want to talk about by themselves because they are a standalone product. They just happen to go with the JackPot. We flipped the table over to show you the different install, and that's where it's done properly and correctly. So let's just take, for instance, you've taken a standard closet flange off the market. This happens to be Odie's new one, where you knock out the flange. It's a great flange, by the way. Anyway, I like it. But anyway, let's just say you bought that and it's installed. It's already screwed down, it's done correctly, you floored around it. Well, now you can take a variety of different seals. You can take the Danco seal here. That'll fit. That's all going to press down. That's going to work. You can take the Corky seal. This one that I showed you earlier. It'll go. There's plenty of room for that. The problem you encounter now is if you take a standard bolt and set it on the floor, You've got 1 inch of toilet right here. That ain't gonna work. So now you can take the wax-free seals, the new ones out on the market. If you get a standard bolt kit, it won't reach. You're stuck using a 3.5 inch extended bolt. That goes way up there. That'll do it. The problem is now it'll overdo it. Now you got to get behind the toilet and cut these bolts off to make it work. What we do with our product, you don't even deal with it. Our bolt is made for the cap. So whether it's countersunk into the subfloor or sitting right on top of the floor, the clever cap is all you need. It's made for the flange. You just don't need anything besides that. We call it the JackPot. That's the name we gave it because it just gives you everything. It is a JackPot. Everything's all in one. You don't have to buy all the other parts. You don't have to worry about floor heights. You don't have to worry about whether it's tile or formica. You go home, you glue it, you screw it, and you set it. I mean, honestly, if this was out there first, would you buy any of those other parts? If it fits 3 inch and 4 inch, if it matches, the seal goes up and down, it matches any floor height in the future. If you've got a cap that sets your toilet in 30 seconds, why would you need anything else? Cost, we're cheaper. If you buy this, we're half the price of all the components you would buy to do what you're doing. What the salesman's going to do is he's going to put all those parts in your cart and tell you to bring the rest back that you don't use. We take out 2 full aisles of product. Everything in the wax-free seal, the regular seal, the bolts, all that stuff goes away. The closet flanges, why do you need closet flanges? I mean, if you've got one closet flange that fits everything and does everything, I don't see a reason that you need all the other closet flanges. And by the way, right behind it is the sister part. So we're working on the cast iron part. It does exactly what the JackPot residential plastic part does. It's just for the commercial plumber. So it'll be set up the same way, acts the same way. We're just now getting into production with it. I can't say enough about it. It's the JackPot, it's the Forever Seal, and it's the Clever Caps. And I think you need to get one.